Never thought I would have to make this video, at least anytime soon. But it looks like I might have to take a year break from riding. So just to let everyone know, I had a fender bender probably 2 years ago. That was a point. I was at fault. And then in January I got that speeding ticket, which I made a video on before. My fault again, but that's another point. So that's 2 points. Now I got my insurance policy from Allstate in October of 2015, and I got full coverage. And this was before I had the speeding ticket, and my premiums were, so I think it was like $182 or $184 a month for basically full coverage with uninsured motorist coverage, and then all the highest premiums, or deductibles, pardon me. Well, I got that speeding ticket in January, and I guess I just don't know how insurance works or something. But my premium went from about $184 a month to $162 a month, around, I want to say around the November-December mark. So I'd been a customer with Allstate for maybe 2 months. So you know what? It must have been January. I don't think I went to court for the actual ticket until late February or early March in 2016. And ever since then, my insurance has been $162 a month. Well, last night, for some strange reason, I usually don't check this unless I absolutely need to, but I was checking my bank account balance, and this is now October of 2016. So been about a year since I've had this policy, and the ticket I got back in January, so that's 10 months ago. Out of the blue, with no warning, I get charged $410 a month. So I make a phone call, and come to find out, because the policy renews in October, every October they review my driving record. I thought they just get sent a notice anytime I get a point or something like that. Like, I've got no idea how the fuck it works. And so come this October, that $162 premium doesn't reflect the one speeding ticket I got in January, and this is 10 months after the fact. I pay $262 a month for the bike. I pay, or did pay, $162 for insurance, and I pay $550 a month for rent. So obviously I cannot afford, given my current situation and given the fact that I'm a full-time college student working 1 to 2 days a week depending, I cannot afford to be spending $550 on rent. And what is that? 410 plus 260, so like $670 alone just on the bike payment and insurance. I hope I'm doing that math right. I'm kind of exhausted. That's $120, I don't even want to do math. That's $120 more than what I make, or what I'm spending on rent. Jesus Christ. Obviously, given my current situation, that's not really doable. And I just found this out last night, so I haven't really started the process of shopping around or anything. But I'll go down to 1 point in October of next year. So for the next year, I have 2 points on my record, provided nothing else happens. In a year from now, I'll have 1 point. I'm assuming insurance will probably go back down to the original mark, 180, 160, somewhere around there, because that was originally what it was reflecting, was just the 1 point on my record for full coverage. So I have a couple options. I can either, ultimately, I can't ride this bike with full coverage. It's being financed, so I don't think I can switch it to limited liability. I did right now, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to get a pretty angry phone call from the bank in about a week or less, because I know they'll get notified. I'll explain to them my situation. My registration's also due this upcoming month. So it's kind of funny how this all times out. I could just not pay the registration or non-op it or whatever. I don't really know anything about that process because I've never had to do it before. I'm sure I can do some reading, which I really don't have time to do right now. But I can sell the bike, recoup my losses, get a beater car, and then get another bike in a year. No matter which way I do it, I was stupid and neglected gap coverage when I initially got the bike, but got the extended warranty when I really should have just done the opposite. Wow, I thought the ramp was closed. Oh, but it sucks, that's for sure. So, getting back to where I was, I can sell the bike, which I don't want to do, and lose money and just wipe my hands of it and try again some other time. I can keep the bike in my garage and continue to make monthly payments on the bike but not register or insure it. Drain all the fluid, take the tires off, put it on a jack, and just let it sit there for a year. That's kind of going to break my heart too. Ultimately, no matter what happens, like, my heart's getting broken. Or option number 3, I have family in Bakersfield, and there's a Buttonwillow track is in Bakersfield, and so I can turn the bike into a track bike for a year. It's a GSXR 750, so that actually, provided I have money to go do that shit, that'd be an amazing idea. But other than that, I really don't know what to do. I don't want to ride it on limited liability insurance. I don't think I can. Part of me thinks I should just get like just a dinky ass dirt bike. That way I still get to ride and just get limited liability. But ultimately it looks like I'm going to have to get a car, which I really don't want to do, but it looks like I'm being forced to. So, come a month from now, this bike, you might not see it again. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. So lately I've run into a few people in YouTube and not on YouTube asking for recommendations on a mechanic. I usually do most of the work, all the basic maintenance stuff that I can myself. I mean, it's fun. I get to learn about my bike, and then I get to save money and all that shit. But for all the stuff I don't do myself, I take it to my buddy Andre. I like going to him. I've ridden with him a couple times. I've dealt with him a few times at his shop, and he's always been super fair and reasonable for me. And honestly, I just trust him. And I honestly think that's more important than anything else when it comes to a mechanic, is trust. Typically, I can bring it in the morning. He opens at 10, I believe. And he'll have it done by the end of the day. He hasn't ever needed to keep my bike overnight. Also, it's his dad started the shop, and his dad's getting a little older now, so he's running it. But I also really like that dynamic, just the father-son business. I think that's really neat. For one, they're Armenian, and I was actually bullshitting with his dad the other day. His dad came over here, and one of the first things he did was join the Marine Corps, which I think if you're an immigrant and the first thing you want to do is serve the country that took you in, I think that's very honorable. That's just my opinion. That's my shameless plug for Andre, but I'd rather support him in any way you can. You know, I'd rather have money go to like a small mom and pop shop than a dealership. Being a motorcyclist is never cheap, so I was actually looking at his page the other day and looking at reviews, and it's funny because the only negative reviews on there, one of them said, "Take your business elsewhere," which I wouldn't really consider that a review. And then the other one said, "He charges too much for an oil change, Clausen charges less," and blah, blah, blah. Really, nigga? And in my opinion, if you own a motorcycle and you're not changing your own oil, and you're bitching about money, your fucking opinion's pretty much irrelevant as far as I'm concerned, because that's one of the first things you should be doing. It's really as simple as unplugging a bolt and letting the oil fall out, putting the bolt in, and then filling it back up with oil. Like, it's really not rocket science. But a lot of people, like I said, have been asking my recommendation for a mechanic, and I would recommend him. I've heard good things about Wilson's too. I haven't heard the greatest things about Clausen, but I personally don't have too many bad experiences with them. I'm certainly not here to bash anyone else. I'm just here to offer my opinion on who I trust personally for all the work that I won't do on my bike. And you know, he's been real good to me so far, so figure I might as well scratch his back. Any of you guys are looking for someone to go to, I'd highly recommend him, but that's just my personal opinion.